Hey, everybody. Welcome to Cruise Control Live. We had some technical difficulties earlier, but we are back and we're back in a big way. This show is going to be fun with a capital F. We are super excited. This is the first time we've had a guest entertainer on our show. And joining us today is a gentleman that holds 3 Guinness World Records. That's right, 3 Guinness World Records. A professional juggler known worldwide, Niels Diker from the Netherlands. Now, whether you're tuning into YouTube right now or watching us on a podcast later with Cruise Control, Niels Diker is a comedy juggler who came all the way from the Netherlands. He started juggling at the age of 12 in Rotterdam and was awarded the Variety Act of the Year by the IMS. And we'll be taking questions from all of you live, and we're going to be teaching each and every one of you how to juggle. This is super cool. Virtually, he's going to teach you how to juggle. Even for those that are all thumbs like me, we'll be juggling right before your eyes. We'll be taking questions from everyone, and Niels will be giving us personal juggling lessons. And for those of you that are not familiar, Neil, once again, is a juggler all the way from the Netherlands, and we're very happy to have him with us. We're going to bring him on right now in our little booth. Niels, there he is live. Hey, Niels, how are you?
Hey, Bill, thanks for having me on your show. It's great to be
Nice
here.
to see you. Do that again, would you? That's pretty impressive.
Okay, let's do it. This is 5-ball juggling.
Wow. That is super cool. You know, I used to do magic on the ships. I did a little juggling. I was able to like reach into the air and pretend like I pick out a light. But if you see it, the light just appears and then disappears. That's the extent of my juggling, Neil.
That's a cool trick. That's cool. I love it.
So tell me how you got started as a juggler and why juggling? Why not something else?
Yeah, I love the juggling. You need to keep practicing. It's like a motor skill. It's a lot of fun. You're never done, and I like that part of the process. So when I was a kid, there was like a street theater festival in Rotterdam where buskers from all over the world came to perform. They were really the best performers, street performers from all over the world. So I saw jugglers, acrobats, guys on the unicycle. And I was a kid and I thought, this is so cool. I want to learn this. This looks amazing. And then in the library, they had a book on juggling.
Right.
And then I learned a little bit how to do it. And actually, it was as much fun as I envisioned it. And like 25 years later, I'm still juggling and it's taken me all over the world.
Wow. And you hold 3 Guinness World Records. I mean, that's super impressive. Tell us how the process, how you earned 3 Guinness World Records.
Yeah, like the Guinness World Records, like they are a good pool, good marketing thing for the ships performing. So it's like, okay, I gotta have a world record. Like a promoter told me, I can book you more if you have one. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out. And I remember I was on Holland America line, and then I started looking how to do it. So you have GuinnessWorldRecords.com, and there they have completely laid out the process. So what you need to do first, of course, is become good enough that you can set a world record. And the world record I found was longest duration juggling blindfolded. And then I juggled 6.5 minutes blindfolded under supervision of a couple, judges, timekeeper. You need to film it, you need to get photos, and you need to send it all to the office in London from Guinness World Records. And then they look it over, and then if you're successful, they send you one of those fancy certificates, and then you're Guinness World Record holder. So that was the very first world record that I did, blindfolded juggling. And that's it's a trick I do on the ships now too. I juggle blindfolded with 3 knives. And then one of the other world records I'm most proud of was most cups ever juggled. So this is 10. This is what I can do in
cups.
the show.
Wow.
But then for Guinness World Records, I opted up a notch and I got 14.
How high in the air are you juggling these cups, for example?
You have all the cups in the stacked, something I don't do at the buffet, but like you have them all stacked and then you give them a good toss. They all go for a single flip and they come back. So when you do 14, it's about 15 feet in the air. Yeah. And then for 10, you can do it on the medium-sized cruise ships. In the smaller theaters, you can still fit it in.
We have a few comments here. We have Dennis wants to know, what's your favorite part of performing?
What I love about performing, there's 2 things. First, I love that you got to do all the tricks that you spent so many years working on. You can do it in the show and you can share that effort that I put in training. You can share it with an audience. So that's what I love. And then the other thing, the aspect, since I do comedy juggling, no show is completely the same. So when you involve the audience, there's always different people in the audience and they behave different and sometimes they say funny things. And that makes the show really unique working with the volunteers. So I have the good feeling of doing the routines as I envision it to the music and doing something beautiful. And then the fun when you get somebody up on stage, and sometimes they have something to drink, sometimes they just react unexpectedly, and yeah, you just have a unique show that you couldn't plan for.
Now you work a lot on cruise ships, as you mentioned. You're on many ships all over the world. And what happens when the seas are a bit rough and you're out there doing your thing and the ship is moving?
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Depending how big the ship is, if the smaller ships get affected more,
Uh-huh.
and then also how bad it gets. Because I remember one time I was on was Oceania cruise, or it was one of those smaller
Yeah.
Princess cruises, and we were close to Indonesia, and there was a typhoon, so it was really bad. And I know it was really bad because the crew was getting a little worried, the guys that actually knew, and yeah, it was so bad. So I remember doing half the show standing like this, because just to keep the balance, so my body would be the same, so I can at least kind of keep my arms kind of stable and know where the objects came down, and just kind of cushion all the blows from the sea. And so that was one of the most intense. But then I knew about it because the sea was just so bad. Like, it's worse if you don't expect it and there's a couple bad waves, and then you get thrown off because you think that you're just like a calm water, so you expect in your brain it's just a theater on land, and then suddenly it's not. And then with the juggling with the balls, like, you can just move, so you can kind of
Oh,
cushion
wow.
the kind of the blows from the sea, so you kind of stabilize yourself on top of the stabilizers from the ship. But then you have little tricks like this, because when I juggle in the show, I have all different acts, different routines. One is, yeah, with a hat, and then just a simple trick like this, like this one. There's more of a chance than I drop this one in rough waters than the balls, because this one, my hat needs to be where the hat is when I catch it. But like, if I don't know, and sometimes you're on up waves, you cannot stand more on your toes than you can, and then people go, "What? Why did he drop? It's just one object. He just juggled 7 balls, and that was fine. And then one object, that should be easy for him, and he dropped that one." But then the unpredictability of the sea, with just a moment, with the hat catching a hat, and then you screw up. But there's nothing you can do about it.
So what happens when you decide to juggle things other than balls? I mean, I've seen folks go out there juggling chainsaws and throwing knives in the air. I mean, on a moving ship, I don't want to be sitting up front.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's why the CDC said stay 6 feet apart. But no, yeah, like for a show, like it's a show. It's like a juggling act. If you go to a circus, they do 5 minutes. So if you do only the balls, you do maybe clubs, it's good. But on a cruise ship, when you're a headliner, you have your 45-minute show, so you have to keep it interesting for 45 minutes. So if you only do the balls, it gets a bit repetitive. So that's why with juggling, you have like clubs that you can juggle.
Uh-huh.
There's all different styles. So like, to me,
Wow.
if I compare juggling to music, you have rock, you have classical music. So it's same with juggling. There's so many different styles. So for my full show, I try to pull from all those different styles. So I have a juggling routine with a magic trick mixed in. Then I have the club juggling, rings, the cups that we spoke about, contact juggling with one ball, which is very pretty. And then I show all the people a variety of juggling, so it stays interesting for 45 minutes.
We have a comment from Sarah. She wants to know, what's the hardest trick you've ever performed?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I would say 7 clubs is a very difficult one.
7
Like,
clubs,
the world record is 8, and
right?
that's something people only do in training. So then to go one below and do it on stage, and that was on a cruise ship, and then you never know if it's moving, or sometimes you fly in, you're still tired and jet lagged from
Right.
flying in, and you still got to do it. And yeah, the 10 cups, that's a very difficult trick. So that's really the tricks also pushing my skill set. But then also some tricks that was my most difficult trick 5 years ago to perform. Now I've gotten better because I got 5 year more practice.
Sure.
So that's not my most difficult trick now.
Sure. Another comment from Soren here. What was the funniest, most unexpected moment during a performance?
Uh, that's a tough one. I definitely, because of when you get a volunteer up on stage, because you bring in something on stage, you don't know how he or she is gonna respond. So like, you have a place for your routine with a child. So sometimes that gets so cute because the kids are so honest, and you never know what they do. Um, and then I have an apple eating contest where I take 3 apples from the buffet and I juggle those, and then a
Mhm.
volunteer is juggling 1 apple, and he has to mimic what I do. And that one guy, he took this apple and he just chucked him way into the wings, and then it was running, and that was like, that was priceless. Actually, I think it's on YouTube as well, so we possibly could post it.
That's funny. So you were nice enough to send me some juggling balls through the mail here. I've got three of them here. These are your typical juggling balls, and obviously you sent these in hopes that you can, turn me into a juggler. You think that's possible?
Yeah, I believe like everybody can learn to juggle. In fact, everybody can learn to juggle 5 balls.
I'm all thumb. So let's see what you can do.
But the 3 balls, like so,
Yep.
the way you juggle the objects.
Okay.
This is the pattern. That's what we call in juggling. We call a pattern. There's a method to it. So
Yep.
you can see the orange ball goes from my left hand to my right hand.
Okay.
And I'm just doing the same motion over and over. Go right, left, right, left, right, left. And the balls always cross. So if you remember that the balls always cross, right, left, and then you start this way. So you start with holding a ball in each hand in this fashion. So I grab it with my thumbs, and then I grab the third ball. I put it right here on my fingers. Then I turn my hand like this. So I'm standing like that. And now what we're going to do, we're going to throw. For me, it's the orange ball. You have all orange balls, but it's the ball right here on the tip of your fingers.
Yep.
You throw it, and you catch it in the other hand.
Okay.
And you have that's good because
it's deafening.
You have a more difficult position because you're not standing, you're sitting down.
I'm sitting down, so I get more points if I do it sitting.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Virtual applause, a lot more. So you go right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand,
left hand, right hand.
Okay. So one
ball. What do you think, folks? Should I quit my day job?
And then so now the ball of the hand has a 2. I throw that one.
Got it.
And then right when it comes down, I throw the other one underneath. So I go.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can get it.
Right, left.
Oh, how's that?
That was very impressive.
Oh, huh?
And on the first try.
Is that impressive?
And it's nice too. You throw both at the same height, and that's very important because now we're gonna put in the third throw. So every throw goes on the same height. I start with the hand that has the 2 balls.
Yep.
Then I go right, left, right. Catch.
Right, left, right. Right, left, right. Oh, did you see that? A round of applause. Thank you. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. But that's awesome. A lot of fun. So if the folks watching and all our viewers out there want to learn how to juggle, what's the best way to do that? Do you have a website? Do you give juggling lessons virtually? What do you think?
Yeah, I do all of that. And the easiest way, free way for everybody watching to learn, go right here on YouTube where you're already at. Go learn to juggle, and then one of my tutorials is one of the most popular out there, so it's pretty high. And then you'll see my smiley face there with a blue background. It has like 2 million views, so quite a bit. So you go there, and in 10 minutes, I can take you through all the different steps, like a little bit more exaggerated and in depth. And then you can juggle. So get some like cross balls from Walmart if you're here in the US. And those are good balls to learn with.
We have another viewer, Colleen, wants to know, how old were you when you started juggling?
I was 12 years old when I started for real. Like when I was 8, I tried a little bit, but then I didn't know how to do it. And there was no YouTube, and I didn't know that the library had a juggling book. And then I found, the book, and at 12, I started practicing all the time. And then very quickly, I learned about all the different styles of juggling. So when I was 13, I bought a book how to learn this style of juggling. It's called contact juggling, with just one ball. And then it just evolved, and I just kept adding tricks. And at one point, I had a full show.
That's pretty cool. We got another watching from Texas. Oh, we have viewers all the way from Texas. That is cool. Awesome. So if people want to find you, do you have an itinerary printed where people can locate you or want to see you in person, whether you're on a ship or elsewhere?
So on my website or my social media, actually both, I post about shows, upcoming shows, and then I have a mailing list as well. If you subscribe to that, you get all the dates and places where you can see me. But the next one is Rhapsody of the Seas out of Israel. So that's quite far out.
And you travel by yourself, right? You don't have an assistant like a magician does that brings the props to you. You're pretty self-contained.
Yeah, so I have the different shows. So like sometimes we travel together, but like for the cruise ship shows, it's what we call a fly-on act. So I'm always there a couple days, a week, maybe a week and a half. And then the package of the show that the cruise line wants is, the fly-on act. You have 2 suitcases for your clothing and your show. And then you bring like 45 minutes and then another 20-minute show or 2 different 45-minute shows. So you can cover if somebody gets sick, or and then you fly with your 2 suitcases, a backpack to the cruise ship by yourself. And then they have an amazing team on the ship. So actually, the stage staff can help you handing out props. You have a lighting designer, sound technician, production manager, cruise director, and all these people help you to put on the best show possible for the
Sure.
passengers.
Niels, you perform globally in front of so many crowds throughout the world. What is your favorite place to perform and why?
It's a It's cool. Like I've been, on all 7 continents now, which is crazy.
Wow.
And then of course, like I had a great time performing in Japan. That was like a 3-month contract in a theme park. Really good memories. Then, but like what I love is anytime I can perform in the Netherlands because it's my home country, give me the opportunity to go back. I take that anytime. And then I have, right now here in the United States, I'm in Pigeon Forge, a tourist town, where Carnival cruise director that now has a major theater here. He booked me, so I love performing here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here for so long. So like, at sea here in the United States and the Netherlands would be my top three.
We have a question here from Evan. He wants to know, what advice would you give to people new to performing?
If you're completely new, I would say like you perform a lot because like before you have a great show, you will have a good show. Before you have a good show, you have a mediocre show. Before a mediocre show, you have a bad show. So that's just a natural. You don't know what you don't know. So you build experience by doing it. And the way you can do it is just you can reach out to me. I can answer more questions and also point you to some books and videos so you can speed up the process. You don't have to learn everything the hard way in front of a crowd. But you still need to get up in front of a crowd, test your new routine and see how the audience responds. Because in the beginning, you don't know what audience even will like. So you just have to go kind of by trial and error. But through books and coaching, you can speed up the process.
If for someone who's just started juggling and asked you what your biggest tip would be to get started, what would you tell them? And do you need a certain size hand to juggle? I mean, if you have small hands, are you at a disadvantage, or do you just use smaller balls?
Actually, you just adjust your apparatus, your equipment to your hand size. The same somebody that's with tennis, you use different balls. But start with. In fact, the lesson I we just went over and had a lot of fun with looking at three. Start with 3 balls and then kind of understand how all the patterns work, and you can do that through my YouTube videos in the same course. It opens up to a couple different tricks, props, patterns, and at one point you start to get an understanding. The same like maybe a musician, if you
Sure.
know, then you can start playing songs if you understand the instrument.
Right. We have Christian from Mexico who just tuned in, and he's an avid juggler from Mexico City, and so he is tuning in. That's nice to see some fellow
That's so cool.
entertainers out there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is there anyone you look up to or growing up that inspired you to be where you are today?
Actually, so many people, and also throughout different phases of my life, you work on different skill set, different stuff. But for my juggling show, just on that, like I have the technical aspect. So you have the two best were Albert Lucas and Anthony Gatto. So it's like for technical tricks and incredible juggling. Those were the guys I kind of studied. And then you had for comedy, you had Daniel Holtzman and Michael Davis. And then I studied those guys. And then later on, I was lucky to meet all these guys and study with all these guys. And then Chris Cremo is super, elegant and a lot of class on stage, how to present yourself, Paul Ponce. So those are, some of the idols in different areas for different reasons. And then I tried for my show to look what I like in any of those guys and then combine them, my favorite things. And that's going to be my show. That's what's my vision, how I try to put my show together.
My favorite, apart from you, was Michael Davies. He used to come out and juggle a bowling ball. I mean, I remember that act. Funny,
Yeah.
very, very funny.
Yeah, it's so great. And he's so nice too. So actually, right before the pandemic, we had a bunch of coaching sessions and he told me, okay, if you work with a volunteer, these are the things you look at. And it's just great because then you understand how they think and how they
Sure.
create stuff. And then you can
Sure.
create original routines, but still with the quality from them.
Sure. Show us your favorite trick. I mean, if there's one trick that you really like love, if you have to perform and you could choose one trick, which one will it be?
Well, like this 1 ball juggling, I love because you can do it close up and you can do it on stage. People, love to test out and just touch the ball and just try it for themselves. So I got a lot of mileage out of this prop. I love this one, but like when I do let me see, I love the rings. Like I said, I'm working on the 12 rings. So, and then I love doing this trick.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, there's so many different tricks and styles. It's like it's so much fun. So that's why 25 years after learning the three-ball juggle, that's why I'm still at it.
Let us in on a secret. Is there anything you do pre-performance to like warm up before you step on stage?
Uh, yes, it's fun, and that's why it's so hard. Sometimes nowadays on the cruise ships, the rehearsal time is pretty close to showtime. So sometimes you don't have like the 5 or 10 minutes to really clear your mind and go from okay, I'm not thinking about light cues anymore, and just go from your own persona to your stage persona because like you want to be a little for me I just want to be a little bit more funny. I want to be a little bit more on, a little bit more energetic on stage than when I'm off stage. So I need that 5 to 10 minutes. So that's yeah, just calm down and just think about okay, this audience is here to have a great time. That's why they're on the cruise. They're on my team. We have the same, they want to have a good time. I want to give them a good time. So it's not, I don't have to be nervous because they want exactly the same thing what I want. So that's kind of goes through my mind. And then yeah, and then another thing is I do the light ball juggling and then the one ball first because sometimes the showtime or like there's bingo so close to the
Sure.
showtime, so I don't really have
Sure.
time. I cannot make noise backstage, dropping clubs and warming up. So the first couple tricks in the show sometimes are tricks that are not as I don't my muscles need to be warmed up for, and then they
Sure.
warm up
Sure.
during the first 2 acts of the show. So then I can really hit them hard midway through the show.
I think we lost him. Niels, are you there? Hello,
I'm still
hello.
here. Yep,
Yeah. What is
I'm
the
still live.
favorite place you've ever performed? I think in the world.
It's so yeah, it's so tough. Like I mean, when the first thing you get to perform in Las Vegas, that's a dream for every entertainer. But then also you have like it could even be like something like a senior citizen retirement community, like
Sure.
or like an elderly home, and you go, okay, I just really made some that person's day. Like this is they're sitting in this wheelchair, and I taught them like a plate spinning trick, and they thought like they this person is 80 years old, and or like and they were sitting there, and they go, "Oh, we're never." I was like, "You think you can juggle?" No, I will never learn it. I was like, "I will teach you right now," and then and they go, "Ah, I wish for 50 years that I could do that." So like sometimes it's those things, and sometimes it's like the yeah, just the place where you get to perform, or just the prestige of the place.
Any advice or tips for anyone looking up to you, or obviously you want to be able to teach other people how to juggle, and yeah, any tips there?
Um, well, like overall, it's so funny when you are, yeah, with your billboard on the or on the big guest entertainer on the ship, and then this the night after your show, before the show, like all the passengers, they treat you so different. So it's just funny how that experience from doing a show, suddenly people treat you so much nicer. So that's why also I try when I travel. It's good. You don't need people, you don't know their background. So I try to be nice right from the start without, yeah, seeing that. So that's more like a life thing. But like for yeah, if you want to be a performer, for example, yeah, get out there and just get coaching and just actually start doing it. Just if you have a dream, go for it. Those are yeah some of the things that got me pretty far, like with juggling all over the place.
Well, should we give it one more go before we call it a day and just see
Yeah,
if
let's do it.
we still
Let's
have it?
create a
Here we go.
little virtual juggling festival right here.
I've perfected something that's really difficult, Niels. I've learned how to juggle with one ball.
There you go.
That's hours of practice, but I think I can do three. You ready? Here we go. Drum roll. Here we go. Drum roll. Hold on, 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 hold on. Oh, there we go. We got
We,
it.
we did it. Spiritual high five.
Niels, thank you so much. It's really a pleasure having you on, and hopefully we could do it again. Maybe we could do a live stream from a cruise ship or wherever you are,
Yeah,
and
that'd be
update the
great.
guests on your whereabouts. But really enjoyed it, and for those of you that want to know more about Niels, obviously you can find yourself online. Give us your website again, Niels.
Yeah, I don't have a big ego at all, so that's
No,
why
no.
I was very subtle on this. Yeah, so if you go comedyjuggler.com or just put in my name, any of the social media channels, Niels Duinker, you will find where I'm at, what I'm doing, and yeah, feel free to reach out.
Really enjoyed it, and you may bump into Niels on a cruise ship or anywhere in the world. And we're really honored to have you here today. And thank you all for tuning in. Sorry about the technical difficulties in the beginning there. We're going to have many more performers in the future on this channel, and it's super exciting. And for those of you that have not subscribed, please subscribe now to Cruise Control on YouTube. You can follow us at Cruise Control BP on Instagram. Also, this will be replayed as a podcast on Apple, on Spotify. So thanks for tuning in. Lots more to come. I'm Bill Panoff, and happy cruising.
Thank you.
Thank you, Niels.